About a week ago, I was browsing the autocross subreddit when I came across a post by Chikachar Drummer asking for some advice on how to go faster. I reached out to him and asked if I could use his video to make an instructional video on how to autocross faster, and he said yes. So I went to his YouTube channel and checked it out. Turns out there's another video there of him autocrossing. So I decided I want to use these two videos to make a two-part video. In this video, I'll cover his first autocross ever. Then in the next video, I'll cover the one that he posted on Reddit. And as the name implies, Chikachar Drummer is in fact a drummer and has some amazing cover tunes on there. So I decided to use one of his drumming videos as the backtrack for this video. Green flag goes up and we're off. I love the livery, that's really cool. All right, looking good so far. Right there, nice and tight on that cone, exactly where you need to be. And on this one, also nice and tight, staying close to those key cones. Love those glasses, gonna have to give me some like that, by the way. Looking good so far. All right, let's pause right there. I want to talk about this little section, this little wiggle right here. Look at it once more. Right, left. Let's pause right here. Now, generally, what you want to try to do is to turn something like that into one smooth arc of a turn. When you have a situation where, let's say it's two separate turns, see if you can make it one big turn. And this is because every time you turn the wheel, you may need to either slow down to make the turn, or that little turn will slow the car down or possibly upset it. And in this case, in order to achieve it, you'll need to move further to the left as indicated by this red arrow. Just get on out there to that edge. It's kind of hard to see if you could fit through there perfectly without having to make any changes, but the idea is make one smooth arc. Looking good, lots of speed down through there. Like that. A little bit of wiper there. Okay, let's pause right here. I want to talk about a technique that you should try to focus on using when you do slaloms. And the idea is backside the slalom cones. And for those of you who may be new to the term, let me explain what this means. When you look at a cone from the top, there's a natural tendency when you do a slalom to want to drive beside the side of the cone. But this is not the most optimal way through a slalom. Ideally, what you want to try to achieve is to backside the cone, meaning when you pass the cone, you've already made your turn and you're passing by the cone on the backside as indicated by this arrow. And that's what we call backsiding the slalom cone. In practice, this is what it would look like. In the first slalom cone, you go around the backside. Then on the next one, same thing again, backside that cone. On the cone where we are right now, you can see the car is positioned on the side of the cone, but where we really want to be is already turning back behind the cone. You can accelerate sooner, therefore stay on the throttle longer into the next gate. All right, we've got a turnaround here at the far end. We're coming back. Nice big U-turn. I want to pause right here and talk about U-turns, making turnarounds. Now, I'm not able to see from this angle what the configuration of cones was on the far end, but generally speaking, what you want to try to do is to go out wide on the right and make a late apex of a U-turn such that when you pass the cone on the exit of the U-turn, you're already facing back, and it would look like this. When you do it this way, there's the same amount of turning as if you made it a normal neutral turn. You're just lopsiding the entire turn over to one side. And the benefit of this is that it allows you to get your turning done early, and by the time you get to the cone at the exit of the turnaround, you're perfectly lined up and in a straight line. And when you're in a straight line, you can get on the throttle more, sooner, for longer, and that will result in more speed and therefore less time. Good amount of speed through here, but let's pause right here for a moment. Again, I want to talk about the importance of backsighting the cones and why it makes a difference in this particular scenario. When you backside your slalom cones, as shown here, the first one, the second one, and the third one, it will line you up to be able to make a straight shot, in this case, right for the finish line. You can start accelerating before the last cone of the slalom, somewhere right around here where this X is. That will allow you to have the maximum amount of time to accelerate in a straight line. We'll take another look at what this looks like in a moment. All right, so let's finish up the course. All right, let's pause right here. This is the finish line. I want to talk about that final slalom. As the red arrow indicates, if you backside that cone, you can have your turning finished right about where that black X is. And as you can see, you'll be ideally lined up with a perfect straight line all the way to the finish line, where you can just hold that throttle down all the way back there before the last cone of the slalom. If you do that, it would be a very quick finish. Let's take a look at the video to see what the hand positioning actually looked like in this slalom. You can see at the last cone of the slalom, the wheel is still turned, and it's still turned until it's straightened out right about here, just before the pointer cone. Now the theory here is that if you backside the cones, instead of being able to have the wheel completely straight and being able to get on full throttle at the pointer cone, you could have been able to get onto the throttle 100% with the wheel straight back here somewhere around where that X is before the last cone of that slalom. And as we indicated earlier, you'd have that straight shot all the way down to the finish line where you can maximize your throttle with the wheel in a straight line and just come flying down that hill across the finish line. There is just a little bit of a caveat I want to add, and that is that sometimes when you look at things like this, you think that might be the quickest way. And based on my experience and observation of this scenario, I think that would be the quickest path through. But I've also experienced that sometimes things don't work out exactly the way you picture it in your mind, and it's something that you just kind of have to try 2 different ways, sometimes 3 different ways to see which one is the right way to do it. And let's say that you do get more speed, backsighting, you line up early, your wheel is straight, you get on the throttle, then the question is, do I stay in my current gear? Do I shift up to the next gear? These are things you kind of have to experiment with. So, you can look at these videos and give advice and have a pretty good idea of what should work, but in the end, you just kind of have to try these things, and either it works out or you throw it out the window. And that's sometimes the nature of the game. So there we go, that's it. You've completed the run, you're across the finish line. Fist pump of victory in the air. You did it, you survived, you made it, you got a good time, you're feeling good about it. Even if you don't win, it's about the challenge, the excitement, the thrill, a little bit of adrenaline, and it's just a lot of fun. I want to thank you again, Chikachar Drummer, also on Instagram and YouTube as Chikachar. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to click that bell so you won't miss the next part of this video coming very soon, hopefully within the next week. This is Jeremy Alt with the Evolution Autocrosser YouTube channel. Hope to see you out on the course soon, and until then, stay safe, take care, and we'll see you in the next video.